It's crazy how well villains can both get along when they need to, but also not get along when, they need to. To be a villain truly means that you feel you are more deserving of respect than anyone, or more in the right than anyone else, which often leads you to betray anyone that you consider to be below you. And to a supervillain, let's be honest, most other people are considered to be below them, including other villains. Today we'll be taking a closer look at some of these relationships where supervillains can't stand and hate each other. Usually this stems out of some feeling of betrayal or being slighted, which ultimately ends up with them doing what villains spend most of their time doing, plotting and seeking revenge. Who are some of your favorite supervillains? Do you find they work well with others, or do you think they struggle? Do you think it is a common trait of most villains to be more of a lone wolf and not get along with other comic book characters? Let us know in the comments below. And while you get pondering, let's get counting. Number 10. Madame Rouge and the Brotherhood of Evil. This is a weird rivalry that is kind of one-sided. After Madame Rouge joined the Brotherhood of Evil, she was quote-unquote improved upon. Actually, no quotes needed, she really was improved upon. She went from being a talented actress who wore disguises to someone who could stretch her body at will and thereby legitimately shapeshift and change her appearance to imitate another's appearance. The Brain gave her surgery to allow this to happen, but he had also given her surgery to help treat her split personality disorder. The disorder caused her to have a good persona and a villainous persona. The Brain believed he had eliminated her good persona, but it later returned, and under that persona she fell in love with Doom Patrol leader Niles Caulder. Niles worked hard to help Rouge overcome her villainous persona, but eventually that also returned, so feeling betrayed by both groups, who she saw as having manipulated her, trying to eliminate her other personas, she set out to kill off the Brotherhood and ridicule the Doom Patrol. Her plans instead resulted in her killing both groups. Number 9. Harley Quinn and Duella Dent. Both could be considered the Joker's girls. Harley at this point was the Joker's ex-girlfriend, and Duella calls herself the Joker's daughter. When the two were forced to work together on the new Suicide Squad, they continuously bicker and squabble. It's clear that neither likes the other. The hate between these two eventually comes to blows, with Harley trying to punch some sense into Duella, who she thinks is an idiot for wanting to be close to or anything like the Joker. Duella, on the other hand, is just trying to goad Harley, thinking that she is just jealous of her connection to the villain. The fight results in Harley almost killing Duella, showing just how strong the hatred between these two supervillainesses really is. Number 8. The Sinister Six. What's better than one Spider-Man villain taking on Spider-Man? 6 of them! Obviously. That was the thought process behind this gruesome gang when Dr. Octopus first formed them. The original team was formed of Vulture, Electro, Kraven, Mysterio, Sandman, and of course Doc Ock. However, the group would be defeated by Spider-Man and later regroup with some different members, but only to reveal just how dysfunctional they truly were. Sandman had reformed at this time and ended up helping Spider-Man to take down his former teammates. After an attack on Sandman's foster family, Sandman suspected Doc Ock as the culprit, who he thought attacked them in order to get revenge upon Sandman for betraying him last time. This, however, ended up not being true. Sandman rejoined the Sinister Six to exact revenge on Doc Ock, thinking that of course that was true. And it later turned out that the other members were behind the attack on his family to get Sandman to, join them once again against Doc Ock. But Doc Ock was also hoping they'd rejoin and attack him so that he could convince the rest of the Six to join him once again. It's very confusing. After turning Sandman to glass, Doc Ock offered the rest of the team just that. In other words, the Sinister Six work together when it's convenient, but they also kind of can't stand one another, and they definitely don't trust each other, which also usually ends up being their downfall. Number 7. Ulysses, Klaue, and Killmonger. While these two may have less of a beef in the comics, if they really have one at all there, they have a big beef in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hence the difference between the spelling of Klaue here. In the film Black Panther, the two appear to be working together, and Klaue does not really seem to know who Eric is. He simply thinks that they are allied villains who both want the vibranium and wealth of Wakanda, when really Eric is N'Jadaka, a former Wakandan who was abandoned and left in America after the death of his father. Killmonger shows distaste for Ulysses' crude ways, and for the fact that he is a mercenary and arms dealer who is willing to exploit Wakanda and take advantage of Killmonger's people. Eric therefore has no qualms with eventually betraying and killing Klaue and using him as a means to regain the favor of the court back in Wakanda, revealing the deceased T'Chaka's dark secrets and fights to take the throne from King T'Challa, so that he can finish his father's work of trying to liberate people of African descent all over the world, using of course the weapons and wealth of Wakanda.
You really want to go to Wakanda?
The savages.
Number 6. Jack-O-Lantern and the Jack-O-Lanterns. Some people say that when someone copies you, to take it as a compliment, that it is meant as a term of endearment. It means someone admires you. I don't think anyone told supervillain Jack-O-Lantern that, unfortunately. The killer, who often transforms his victims' heads into Jack-O-Lanterns, at one point disappeared from the comics, prompting a bunch of replacement Jack-O-Lanterns to pop up in his stead. While on a bizarre road trip with Flash Thompson, the villain lets Flash know his feelings on the topic of copycat villains, confessing that he dispatched all of the competing lanterns, not even remembering how many he killed, but it was probably at least 5. It's a lot of hate. 5 deaths. Ooh. Number 5. Magneto and Apokolips. You may know the feud between these two villains to be strong in the X-Men Age of Apokolips film, but in the comic storyline that the film was based off of, the feud was even more intense. This storyline ended with one really pissed off Magneto taking down Apokolips by himself. No help from Jean Grey necessary there. Obviously, the hatred between these two makes a lot of sense. Apokolips is trying to create a better world, and as such looks to eliminate all life on Earth, including mutants who will not join him. Magneto does not agree with mutant kind being threatened and so gets in the villain's way. This is of course in a world where Professor X is dead, and so it is up to Magneto to put a stop to Apokolips. At one point in the Age of Apokolips storyline, Magneto basically just tears Apokolips apart. Number 4. Carnage and Venom. Alright, these two have hated each other since day one. Carnage of course was born from Venom while Eddie was in jail. His cellmate at the time was Cletus Cassidy. Cletus tried to befriend Eddie Brock somewhat, but when Eddie showed nothing but disgust for him, Cletus decided to kill him. As you do when you're a serial killer. Right as Cletus was about to shiv Brock, Venom freaked out and went into what could be called early labor. This resulted in Carnage being born and bonding to Cletus through his blood, because Cletus was bleeding at the time. Being that Eddie and Cletus never got along, it is unsurprising that the feud has been strong between Carnage and Venom as well, even leading to Venom joining his arch nemesis at the time, Spider-Man, in an effort to take down Carnage, back in the 1990s. Number 3. Black Adam and the Four Horsemen of Apokolips. Black Adam was a reformed villain ruling over Kahndaq peacefully with his love Adriana Tomaz when the Four Horsemen became active. They target Black Adam and end up killing Adriana, who was also at the time Isis, as Captain Marvel had granted her the powers of that Egyptian goddess. After Pestilence poisons Adriana, she dies in Adam's arms and repents her original stance on how to rule, claiming that his way had been right all along. She encourages him to continue on and avenge her, and to avenge his Black Marvel family. Black Adam does just this, filled with rage. He goes after the Four Horsemen, brutally killing Death after destroying the country of Bialia, home of the Four Horsemen, and killing many innocents in the process. Number 2. The Riddler and Kite Man. I know this seems like a weird one to have so high up on the list, but the hatred between Kite Man and the Riddler is strong. In DC's Rebirth, the story of Kite Man, aka Charles Brown, is retold. His son Charles Brown Jr. ends up being a victim caught up in a war between the Joker and the Riddler, used as a pawn while Kite Man is revealed to have been playing multiple sides, including Batman's. In the end, Charles Jr. died when Riddler poisons the young boy's kite string on the kite that his father actually gave him. So sad. As such, Kite Man swears revenge on the Riddler, giving him a much better backstory and purpose. Granted, Brown is also pretty pissed at Batman too for letting his son die, but he still allies with him in order to take down the Riddler, who he blames more, and helps Batman take down the Joker as well. Number 1. Catwoman and Black Mask. The hatred between these two is a brutal one, and I know what you're all going to say, Catwoman is not a villain. I feel you. I love Catwoman. She's done a lot of heroic things, but ultimately she is still one bad cat, and still a criminal and a thief, even if a lot of what she steals ends up getting given away to those that need it. Such was the case when Selina Kyle stole from Black Mask actually, which was ultimately a bad choice for her. Black Mask is not a person you want to mess with. He sought revenge on Catwoman by kidnapping her sister Maggie and her sister's husband. He killed Catwoman's brother-in-law in front of Maggie and then made her eat her deceased husband's eyeballs, driving her insane. Catwoman later sought revenge by killing him. Yeah, not a thing she does often. She shot him right in the head, but he was later resurrected as Black Lantern and immediately sought revenge on Catwoman for killing him. Ugh, such a feud. Thankfully, the other Gotham City Sirens were there to help save Catwoman and her sister Maggie. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. I hope you enjoyed this list. What do you think the greatest supervillain rivalry of all time is? Which supervillains hate each other the most? Let me know in the comments below if you agree with this list or if there is a pair that you feel we left out. The Legion of Doom is another band of villains that often seem to turn on one another. So many supervillain groups are just so dysfunctional. While you are on your way down to the comments, remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring our bell. Till next time, this has been Top 10 Nerd, and my name is Amanda McKnight, reminding you to stay nerdy, YouTube.